Good news is on the way for Microsoft fans. They got some good news in regards to their pending deal for Activision Blizzard King. And this is something that I think a lot of people are clearly talking about. Obviously there was some of those rumors that people might try to sue to block it, blah, blah, blah. But again, any kind of lawyer that we've seen or any kind of person in the industry says that anybody trying to sue this deal to block it would get absolutely shredded in court. And the interesting thing that Microsoft did that I absolutely love was they really kind of paid attention to Sony's kind of questions, right? Because Sony is basically spitballing. They're like, well, 3 years isn't enough. This amount of years isn't enough. And so what Microsoft did was they really kind of addressed those concerns so that regulators can see that Sony doesn't really have any concern but just keeping the stuff out of Xbox's hands. That's it. It doesn't matter how long Microsoft wants to keep them on PlayStation. It could be forever. And there is cadence for them keeping games on, other platforms, Minecraft being the key one. But the other thing is, people try to point at the deal with, Blizzard, or the deal with Bethesda, right? And they go, oh, well, look, they made those games exclusive. They'll make everything exclusive. Well, Sony has made a ton of stuff exclusive. That's the funny part from, studios they bought. But Microsoft said that they were going to make some things exclusive and that they would keep some things not. And, and they didn't pull anything off the PlayStation Store. The Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76, all that stuff is still available on PlayStation. So they didn't do that. They kept to their word with, keeping Ghostwire Tokyo, that deal, with Deathloop, that deal. They kept everything status quo. They honored all their agreements, and yet still people are going to, kind of try and disrespect, what they're doing. I don't understand why things are kind of going the way that there are. So you know what? I think that there's going to be a ton of interesting things to go forward here. But I want to get into this. Let's get started. Hey everybody, I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you for checking it out. I certainly appreciate it. Please leave a like on the video, as I'm looking to get 100 likes on all the videos. Would be pretty awesome if you guys could do that. I always try my best to kind of, give you guys some interesting content every day, except for when I was sick and things like that, unfortunately. So yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, so this was very interesting because this came out, and it looks like things are going to progress very well for Microsoft now. It looks like they're going to be offering a concession to help gain EU approval for the Activision deal, including a 10-year licensing deal to Sony for Call of Duty. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to stop or pull Call of Duty after that deal is up, after the years are up. It's just that's something in writing to guarantee at least that long, which would give Sony plenty of time to prepare something in the interim to compensate for that and to get ready for that. That is a lifetime in the industry, in the tech world. According to Routers sources who said Microsoft sweeteners would consist mainly of a 10-year deal to PlayStation maker Sony. The future of Call of Duty series as a multi-platform product is obviously one of the key areas being examined by antitrust regulators scrutinizing Microsoft's proposed $68.7 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Microsoft has recently said that it offered Sony a deal that would see Call of Duty franchise remain on PlayStation for over a decade. This is what they had to say. Sony, as the industry leader, says it's worried about Call of Duty, but we've said we're committed to making the game available on the same day on both Xbox and PlayStation, according to a Microsoft spokesperson. We want people to have access to games, not less. The European Commission officially launched an in-depth probe of Microsoft's proposed acquisition in November. The Commission is concerned that the proposed acquisition may reduce competition in the markets for distribution of consoles and personal computers, video games for PC operating systems as well, it said at the time. The EU competition watchdog is due to rule on the deal by April 11, 2023. Of the many regulators reviewing the deal, only Saudi Arabia and Brazil have approved it. They expect Serbia to do so shortly. In statements provided to the UK competition watchdog, Sony claimed that if Microsoft was to gain sole control of Activision's quote-unquote irreplaceable content, it could lead to the company increasing Xbox hardware and software prices, which is ironic since Sony just did that. But what's very funny is that now we also know that Serbia did indeed pass it. So the deal has now been approved in Brazil, Saudi Arabia, and Serbia. According to this, Serbia joined Saudi Arabia and Brazil in clearing the deal, which is currently being scrutinized by some antitrust regulators in other places. It also claimed that Xbox maker Microsoft is likely to make concessions to regulators soon in the bid to help push through the transaction. Ultimately, such a move could secure an early clearance with the European Commission and subsequently be used by the parties before either antitrust agencies, according to Stephanie Denote, a partner at law firm McDermott, Will & Emery. However, it remains to be seen whether the active complaints will validate such concessions, in particular in terms of scope and if behavioral remedies will also be accepted by the CMA and the FTC, referring to UK and US competition watchdogs. Like the European Commission, the CMA recently launched an in-depth probe, while it's being claimed that the FTC could file an antitrust lawsuit in an attempt to block it, which would really go bad for them if they tried to do that crap. In statements recently provided by the CMA, Sony claimed that if Microsoft gained control, that they would be screwed, but not in those exact words. So yeah, we have some cool things going on. Both look like, Microsoft is going to be able to kind of get this stuff going in the right direction. And listen, I think it's good news. I think that it makes sense for Microsoft to go out there and hey, give them 20 years if it makes them feel good. Hell, who knows what's going to happen? We don't know if PlayStation's going to be around. We don't know what's going to happen in 20 years. But it doesn't make sense to pull Call of Duty. Honestly, it really doesn't make sense to pull Call of Duty or anything like that. I just feel like that's counterproductive. People are just like, oh, they want to do it. Like, I think the idea is to get it in Game Pass for sure. They want to get it in Game Pass and they want to make sure that their fans have these games to be able to play. But I don't think that they have the idea to go, hey, let's go ahead and pull this game that just brought in $1 billion in a week's time. Like, that would be completely asinine to do that, and I don't think Microsoft would do that or want to do that, because the incentive would already be there to to buy the game on on Xbox or to play the game on Xbox simply due to Game Pass. That's not to say that people wouldn't play it or buy it on PlayStation, because of course they would. You will see people leave PlayStation and go to Xbox. But I doubt that it's going to be 20 million people. But you will definitely see people leave. I think it really just kind of comes down to how long are people going to, kind of wait around. I think that's the point. And Microsoft has really kind of paid attention to Sony's demands here and Sony's claims, even though Sony's blowing smoke out of their ass, because they don't really care about, they know that Microsoft wants to keep it on PlayStation. Their only thing is that they want to make sure that it never is owned by Microsoft, because then they lose the marketing rights, they lose all the extra content that they got. It'll end up on Game Pass Day One. But guess what? Microsoft has already said that it can also end up on, if Sony wants to pay for it, it could always end up in, PlayStation Plus or whatever. So yeah, it is what it is. But people really kind of get bent out of shape with this stuff. I just feel like it's trending more now that it's going to, that it's going to be one of those things that people never kind of get. The people are always going to try to bash Microsoft for something, and I find it stink that that Microsoft is really kind of going all out for this kind of stuff. Honestly, I think, it's going to be great. You need Call of Duty to be like this yearly juggernaut or whatever. And I feel like we'll continue to see things kind of grow in the future. And I hope they do a really good job with it. I think Microsoft will. The games and franchises that they've bought recently have all improved thanks to Microsoft, and thanks to Microsoft helping out in terms of giving them time and money and resources to get things done. So with that being said, I'm going to link these articles in the description below. You fine folks can check it out. Let me know what you think, because it's always critically important. If you guys have an idea for a video that you would like me to do, please let me know, and I will try to get around to it. You know, I enjoy doing these videos, and I hope you guys have a great day. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up, crap gamer out.